In a quiet room, the most dangerous person is never the one speaking. It is the one whose eyes reveal nothing and whose silence feels like a weight. Imagine standing in a high-stakes negotiation or a predatory social circle, realizing that while you are a glass house of tells and triggers, the person across from you is a black hole. You can see them, but you cannot see into them. They are unreadable. To be unreadable is to possess the ultimate form of psychological sovereignty, the ability to move through the world without leaving a footprint on the minds of others. Most people spend their lives desperate to be understood, leaking their intentions, their fears, and their next moves like a cracked vessel. But the elite, the architects of their own destiny, understand that to be seen is to be captured, to be predictable is to be enslaved. By the end of this journey, you will understand the mechanics of the void, and I will reveal the one final chilling truth that ensures no one will ever truly know who you are again. True power does not shout, it recedes. Think of the ocean. Its surface can be calm, rhythmic, and inviting, while 1,000 miles of crushing pressure and silent predators exist beneath. Most individuals are like shallow ponds, clear, transparent, and easily disturbed by the slightest pebble of provocation. When someone insults you, you react. When someone praises you, you preen. You are a machine operated by external buttons. To become unreadable, you must first dismantle the machinery of reaction. You must cultivate what we call the neutral mask. This is not the absence of emotion, but the decoupling of internal experience from external expression. It is the realization that your face belongs to the world, but your mind belongs to you. In the courts of the 18th century, a single misplaced smirk could end a bloodline. Today, the stakes are different, but the biology remains the same. We are wired to scan faces for intent. When you deny the world that data, you create a psychological vacuum, and a vacuum, by its very nature, demands to be filled. People will begin to project their own fears and insecurities onto your silence, effectively defeating themselves before you have even spoken a word. This silence is not merely a lack of noise, it is a strategic weapon. In the realm of dark psychology, we understand that human beings are fundamentally uncomfortable with the unknown. When you refuse to telegraph your next move, you force your opponent into a state of cognitive dissonance. They begin to overthink. They wonder if your stillness is a sign of supreme confidence or a hidden trap. This mental friction creates fatigue. While they are burning calories trying to decipher your enigma, you are observing them with surgical precision. You are the observer, and they are the specimen. But this is only the first layer of the veil. To truly hide your path, you must learn the art of the false signal. Just as a predator uses camouflage, not just to hide, but to mimic something harmless, the unreadable person occasionally provides the world with a decoy. You give them a tell that you've manufactured. You let them think they've figured you out, leading them down a path that leads to a dead end. This brings us closer to the realization that the greatest secrets aren't kept in vaults, they are hidden in plain sight, wrapped in the mundane. We often believe that to be mysterious, we must be brooding or distant. This is a common mistake. True unreadability can often wear the mask of the ordinary. It is the gray man theory applied to the psyche. If you are too eccentric, you draw scrutiny. If you are too silent, you draw suspicion. The master of the craft is someone who can engage in small talk, laugh at a joke, and blend into the social fabric, all while maintaining an iron-walled internal sanctum. It is a form of cognitive dissonance where you are present but unreachable. You are playing a character in their movie while you are the director of your own. This duality is exhausting for the uninitiated, but for the practitioner, it is a source of immense freedom. You are no longer tethered to your reputation or the expectations of your peers. You become a ghost in the machine. As we move deeper into the shadows of the human mind, remember that the most profound layer of this art, the final secret I mentioned, requires you to give up the one thing you hold most dear, your own ego. Consider the concept of strategic unpredictability. Most people operate on a loop of habits and emotional triggers. If I know what makes you angry, I can control you. If I know what you desire, I can lead you. To be unreadable is to break the loop. It is the act of occasionally doing the opposite of what is expected, not for the sake of rebellion, but to reset the expectations of those around you. It is the sudden pause in a conversation. It is the decision to walk away from a deal you were expected to chase. It is the refusal to defend yourself when accused. These glitches in your social persona create a sense of unease in others. They realize that their map of your personality is outdated. They realize they are standing on shifting sand. This is the moment you win, because you have moved the battleground from the external world into their own imagination. When someone is trying to guess your next move, they are no longer focused on their own. They are reacting to a ghost. But why do we feel the need to be read? It is a biological drive for tribal belonging. We want to be seen because being seen feels like being safe. However, in the modern landscape of hypervisibility and digital surveillance, being seen is a liability. Your data is harvested, your preferences are mapped, and your future behavior is predicted by algorithms more accurately than your own family. To be unreadable in the 21st century is an act of digital and spiritual sedition. It is the reclamation of the private self. When you master the art of hiding your next move, you aren't just winning a social game, you are opting out of a system of control. You are becoming a black swan, the event no one saw coming, the variable that destroys the equation. This leads us to the mirror technique, a darker application of this philosophy, where you reflect the energy of the person you are with back at them, leaving your own essence entirely untouched. You become a mirror, and people love mirrors because they get to see their favorite subject, themselves. While they are enamored with their reflection in you, your true self is miles away, planning, calculating, and preparing for the final strike. The weight of this knowledge is heavy. To live behind a veil is to accept a certain level of isolation. You cannot be truly known and truly unreadable at the same time. You must choose between the comfort of intimacy and the cold clarity of power. Most will choose comfort. They will continue to bleed their intentions through their body language, their social media posts, and their desperate need for validation. But for the few who are willing to walk the path of the shadow, the rewards are absolute. You become the predator who is mistaken for the prey until the very moment the trap closes. You begin to see the world as a series of vectors and forces rather than a collection of friends and enemies. And as we approach the core of this philosophy, the final secret begins to emerge from the mist. It is not about what you hide. It is about the fact that there is nothing to find. Think of a master chess player. The amateur thinks 3 moves ahead and telegraphs their excitement when they see a path to victory. The master thinks 50 moves ahead, but their face remains as immobile as stone. However, the true master doesn't just hide their moves, they hide their strategy. They allow the opponent to think they are winning a specific sector of the board, sacrificing pawns and even power pieces, all to draw the opponent into a geometry they didn't even know existed. This is the long game. To be unreadable, you must stop living in the next 5 minutes and start living in the next 5 years. When your actions today are dictated by a goal far over the horizon, they will appear nonsensical to those around you. They will look for patterns in your daily behavior and find none, because the pattern is too large for them to perceive. You are not hiding a move, you are hiding a transformation. Now we must discuss the vortex of information. In any interaction, the person who speaks less gains more. Information is the currency of the unreadable. By asking targeted questions and practicing active silent listening, you compel others to fill the silence. People are terrified of a vacuum in conversation. They will volunteer information they shouldn't. They will reveal their biases, and they will expose their vulnerabilities just to stop the ringing in their ears that silence produces. You, meanwhile, are a vault. Every piece of data you gather is a brick in the wall you are building around your next move. You are learning their rhythm, their cadence, and their breaking point. This is the essence of dark empathy. Understanding exactly what someone is feeling, not to share it,